Have you ever looked at someone you loved, someone you built a life with, and wondered, who are you? That's a question I never thought I'd have to ask myself, especially not about my wife, Sarah. Our story started like a fairy tale. We met in college, two kids, with big dreams, and an even bigger love for each other. We were inseparable. We supported each other through thick and thin, celebrated every small victory, and held each other during every setback. The day I asked her to marry me was the happiest day of my life. I remember the look in her eyes, the way the sun caught her smile. It felt like we were invincible, like our love was a fortress that nothing could ever penetrate. We'd built a beautiful life together, a cozy little house, two amazing kids, and a circle of friends that felt like family. I worked hard to provide for us, and she made our house a home. It was everything I had ever wanted. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our shared dreams for the future. Looking back, everything seemed perfect. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe it was too perfect, and I became complacent. I stopped seeing the subtle shifts, the small cracks that were beginning to form in the foundation of our fortress. The changes were small at first. She started working late more often. Just a big project, she'd say. And I believed her. Why wouldn't I? This was Sarah, my Sarah. Then came the girls' nights out that seemed to happen every weekend. She'd come home smelling of a perfume I didn't recognize. Her phone always face down on the nightstand. When I'd ask about her night, her answers became vague, distant. The light in her eyes, the one that used to shine just for me, seemed to dim whenever I was around. A cold knot of anxiety started to twist in my stomach. A feeling I couldn't quite name, but couldn't ignore either. I tried to talk to her. I'd ask if everything was okay, if she was happy. She'd always brush it off with a forced smile, saying I was just being paranoid. You're just tired from work, she'd say. Everything is fine. But it wasn't. The emotional distance between us grew into a vast, silent canyon. We were living in the same house, sleeping in the same bed, but we were miles apart. The laughter that used to fill our home was replaced by an uncomfortable silence. I felt like I was living with a stranger, a ghost who just happened to look like my wife. I was lonely, incredibly lonely, in my own home. The truth came out on a rainy Tuesday evening. It wasn't some dramatic confrontation. It was quiet, and that made it all the more devastating. I found a message on her laptop, which she'd left open by mistake. A message not meant for my eyes. It was from him. The words blurred together, a jumble of secret meetings, shared jokes, and declarations of affection. In that single moment, my entire world shattered. The floor fell out from beneath me. The person I had trusted completely, the mother of my children, had been living a double life. The love I thought was our fortress was nothing but a house of cards, and it had just come tumbling down. The days that followed were a blur of pain, confusion, and anger. Every memory we had ever made felt tainted. Every I love you she had ever said felt like a lie. How could this have happened? Where did I go wrong? I tortured myself with these questions, replaying every moment, searching for a sign I might have missed. Confronting her was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. There were tears, denials, and then, finally, a confession. The details of her affair felt like 1,000 tiny knives, each one piercing a different part of my heart. The trust, the very bedrock of our relationship, was completely gone. We tried counseling. We tried to talk it through. But how do you rebuild a fortress that has been blown to pieces? The betrayal had left a wound so deep that I wasn't sure it could ever heal. Every time I looked at her, I saw him. I saw the lies. The love that once defined us was now buried under a mountain of deceit and pain. I realized that the woman I married, the life we built, was gone. It was just a memory, a story of what used to be. For the sake of my own sanity and for our children, I knew I couldn't live in the ruins of our broken marriage any longer. Making the decision to leave was agonizing. It meant breaking up our family, shattering the world our children knew. But staying meant living a lie, suffocating in an atmosphere of distrust and resentment. It wasn't fair to me, and it was unfair to them to grow up in a home devoid of genuine love and respect. Infidelity doesn't just break a heart, it destroys a sense of self, a sense of reality. It forces you to question everything you thought you knew. It's a long and difficult road to recovery, A journey of rebuilding not just a life, but your own sense of worth. Today, I'm still on that journey. Some days are better than others. The pain is still there. A dull ache that reminds me of what I lost. But there's also a glimmer of hope. I'm focusing on my kids, on being the best father I can be for them. I'm rediscovering who I am outside of that relationship. It's a slow process of healing, of learning to trust again, starting with trusting myself. My story is a painful one, but I share it not for pity, but as a reminder that even when your world falls apart, you can find the strength to rebuild. You have to. If you're going through something similar, please know that you're not alone. The pain can feel all-consuming, but it's so important to reach out and talk to someone, a friend, a family member, or a professional therapist. Healing is possible. It takes time, it takes courage, but you can get through it. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more discussions on navigating life. As tough as challenges, your support means the world. Stay strong.